Good afternoon and welcome to my presentation in relation to the chemistry research investigation. My name is Matthew Song and I have chosen the question, would there be life if elements did not form compounds, for the assignment. Before we dive into the main question, we should first investigate the nature of compounds and why this chemical structure came to be in the first place. Compounds occur when two or more elements bond together in order to either complete or empty their valence shells, hence making them more stable atomically. This can be seen in the example of the ordinary table salt. With sodium and fluoride being extremely reactive substances in their own right, they combine to form a rather unreactive compound in the form of sodium chloride. There are three main forms of chemical compounds which depend on the nature of the elements involved. An ionic bond involves both a metal and a nonmetal, with the metal giving electrons to the nonmetal. A metallic bond consists of two or more metals in which the extra electrons are shared among the atoms in the lattice. Last but not least, a covalent bond involves nonmetals where the valence electrons are shared between the atoms in order to complete their valence electron shells. Based on this knowledge, to assume this hypothetical situation in which elements do not form compounds, it would be in a reality where the valence shells of atoms do not host a specific number of electrons, or a reality in which electrons do not exist at all. On the topic of life formation, it is currently theorized that all matter in the universe originated from the Big Bang. These particles are then compressed together and under pressure to form star systems or solar systems, which cluster into galaxies and so on and so forth. The particles that form the Sun after clumping together then undergo fusion in the Sun's core, and hence produce tremendous amounts of energy, namely in the form of heat and light, which are essential in the making of life. The heavy elements on the planets, on the other hand, are products of previous supernovae. Over time, due to the nature of atoms, some of these electrons will in turn bond together and form compounds. Currently, we are unsure about how life was formed from the inorganic material. However, there is a model called abiogenesis in which life naturally arises from inorganic material. Based on current models, it is said that the atoms were synthesized under natural conditions by a slow process of molecular evolution in the early Earth atmosphere that was chemically reducing, meaning that the atmosphere was free of oxygen and ozone and being instead primarily composed of compounds such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and various sulfur compounds on top of nitrogen. However, as of yet, there is no standard model for the origin of life. As mentioned before, these are just three of the most common components of life that involve compounds. Water, H2O, covers 71% of the Earth's surface and is the lifeline for all living things, animals and plants alike. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is a catalyst of photosynthesis, which in turn results in the production of oxygen. Salt, NaCl, is an essential part of the human diet, and without it, our nervous and muscular system would cease to function, resulting in death. On top of that, the basic composition of all animals are based on the four basic organic compounds, which are carbohydrates, lipids or fats, proteins, and nucleic acids, all of which are chemical compounds. In a reality without chemical compounds, all of these parts would cease to exist, and hence the structure of life would have to be extremely altered if this was to occur. Overall, further research should be done on this topic of discussion. Until our science further develops our method of thinking, and our technology advances in order to be able to carry out more detailed experiments, the question of whether life can exist without the existence of compounds would be a philosophical one. However, this area of study heavily coincides with the formation of life and hence might cause controversy as it opposes the view of some people. Despite the social drawbacks and challenges, this topic should be further studied as it might bring forth technological advances directly or indirectly.